Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the YVI podcast. YVI stands for Youth Veterinarian Initiative, and it is part of the Wells International Foundation's STEAM Education Strategic Focus Area. And the Youth Veterinarian Initiative serves as an introduction to veterinary medicine for underserved minorities who are underrepresented in the veterinary field. We're targeting youth aged 9 to 17 with the intent to expose them to career opportunities in general veterinary practice, veterinary medical specialties, vet tech / technologist nursing opportunities, and other animal-focused professions. And we have been running this podcast for just over a year now. We're starting our second year as of September 2022 with our 2022-2023 podcast series. And I am excited to welcome you to this edition of the podcast, which is called Born to be a Veterinarian. And we have Dr. Courtney Campbell as our guest speaker, and we have Bailey Brown as our guest interviewer. So first, I want to introduce Dr. Courtney Campbell, who is a board certified veterinary surgeon. He is also a veterinary journalist, which is a term that I hadn't come across before reading his profile. A man who is writing about veterinary medicine. He is also a media personality going on to television to talk about veterinary medicine and pet care. And he is also an advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the field, which is why YVI exists in the first place. And we're going to have as his interviewer a 7th grade student in the greater Houston metropolitan area. Houston happens to be my hometown, so I'm very excited about this. I want to introduce Bailey Brown, who is, as I said, in the 7th grade. She is a straight A student. She is involved in all kinds of extracurricular activities, including volunteering at a local animal shelter because she has as her career goal to become a veterinarian. And Bailey is going to be interviewing Dr. Campbell today. So Bailey, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hi. What made you want to be a veterinarian?
Well, first and foremost, Bailey, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for conducting this interview. I feel it's a privilege and an honor to be able to be interviewed by you. So thank you first and foremost, and congratulations on all your achievements. I have been reading about you, and the fact that you are so successful so early in life really warms my heart. So thank you so much for that. What led me to become a veterinarian? Much like you, Bailey, I was inquisitive when I was a young kid. I asked a lot of questions. I wanted to know a little bit about everything. And when I was inside, just like you are right now, my parents said to me, hey, Courtney, you need to go outside because outside is where the fun is. And so I simply went outside, and that's where I discovered animals. I was outside the woods. I would flip rocks over to find salamanders under the rocks. I would see opossum, raccoons, black bears in my yard. And that's when I realized, I said, Courtney, you love animals so much and you love learning about them. You really should think about how you could be a doctor to help them, to save them, to treat them. And that's where I decided veterinary medicine is where I wanted to be. So it was really from about discovery, Bailey. It was about from being outside. It was about learning about animals and having fun learning about them. And that's what allowed me to be a veterinarian.
Oh, okay. And did this happen like when you were a kid or a teenager?
Absolutely. I was very young. So 6 years old, 7 years old. But when I really realized this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be, I was around in the 6th or 7th grade. So I was very close to your age, Bailey. This is such a great and exciting time and a lovely time because this was the time where I said to myself, hey, Courtney, you might want to pursue a career in veterinary medicine. Is that what you're thinking about right now, Bailey?
I think so.
Okay. Well, take your time. You have a lot of time. Do you love animals as well or no?
I like animals.
You do? All right, great. That's perfect. I think when you combine your excellent abilities in school, combined with your desire to learn more about animals, when you combine those two, great things can happen. So I anticipate great things will happen for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what did you do, like after that, what did you do to help you prepare for vet school?
What did I do to help me prepare for vet school? That's such an excellent question, Bailey, because there is one first step. Do I want to be a veterinarian? But then you have to take the second step. Okay, now I know I want to do this. How do I prepare? And what I started out doing, first and foremost, was gaining experience. And some of the experiences I had were fun, but they were nothing like this. So for example, Bailey, when I met one of the very first veterinarians, I was much older than you were. I was approximately 16 or 17 the day that I met my very first veterinarian. The very first time I met a veterinarian of color was when I was 26 years old, when I started vet school. So it was a while into my life before I met a veterinarian of color that had any influence on me. So that's number one, preparation. Get as much experience as you can. And that's why I'm so proud of what you're doing right now, Bailey, because you're gaining valuable experience learning about animals and learning and talking with veterinarians. So I would say first and foremost, preparation. Get as much experience as you can with all the species you can. And that's what's fun, Bailey. This is the part where you're going to have fun because you're going to get to learn about cows, dogs, cats, small rodents, research. You're going to be in school, in veterinary schools, taking summer programs. This is the time where you have the most fun because you get to learn about everything that veterinary medicine has to offer.
Okay, thank you. And were there any challenges along the way?
Bailey, this is a fun road. It is going to be an amazing journey for you if you choose to jump into this journey. But like anything else, you're going to have hurdles, right? Do you play any sports, Bailey?
I do dance and I like to run.
You like to run. Okay, when you're running, have you ever had to jump over something?
No.
You've never had to. Okay, well, that's going to be very fun for you because when you start running and you get more into it, sometimes people are going to put things in your way when you're running, and you're going to have to figure out a way to jump over them, right? We call those hurdles. And so when you're on the track team and you're running on the track and you're fast, and they say, okay, Bailey, you're super fast. Now we're going to have you try the hurdles. And you're like, the hurdles? You mean I have to run the same race, but I have to jump over obstacles? And that's what life is a little basically like. When you're pursuing veterinary medicine, you are running a race, you're having fun running a race, but occasionally people will put things in front of you called hurdles, or life will put things in front of you called hurdles, and you're going to have to figure out a way to jump over them. So the biggest challenges that I had were that school can be very challenging. School can be very hard, and sometimes you don't feel like you want to study. Sometimes you don't feel like you want to go to that place, that farm, that hospital, that veterinary hospital to learn about animals because things are hard. But if you stick to it and you focus, you'll blast through those hurdles and you're going to have fun doing it.
Oh, okay. Why did you decide to specialize in small animal surgery instead of like big animal surgery?
Okay, this is a perfect question, Bailey. Have you ever had a situation, Bailey, where people are trying to figure out something that's really hard? They can't figure it out. And they say, hey, Bailey, can you come help us with this? Have you ever had a situation like that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How did it feel when you were able to help them?
It felt good. I like it.
Yeah, it does feel good. That's exactly the case. And that's exactly how I feel too. If you have a situation that's very challenging, very tough, a dog needs surgery or a cat needs surgery, sometimes the general veterinarian saying, hey, Courtney, this is really tough. And I'm having trouble figuring this out. And you know what, Bailey? It's tough for me too, but I help. And that's where it feels good, is knowing that if someone is having a challenge is somebody has something difficult. Let's say, unfortunately, a dog escapes and it gets a broken leg, and fixing a broken leg can be hard. And they say to me, Courtney, can you help with this hard thing? Dr. Campbell, can you help us fix this leg? And I say, yeah. And it feels so good because here's the magic, Bailey. Here's one thing I want you to focus on. The magic of veterinary medicine is right here. When you fix or you help out a dog through something difficult, you're not only helping that dog, but you're helping the other veterinarian who's treating that dog. You're helping the family who loves that dog. And then you're helping the community because other people can now play and interact and have fun with that dog. So just by helping one animal, Bailey, you help 3 or 4 or even more people. And that is the true magic of veterinary medicine, being able to help a whole bunch of people and animals all at the same time.
Oh, okay. And what did it take to get a broad
Board,
certification?
a board certification.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. What did it take to get board certified? Man, remember we just talked about that race, right, Bailey? We talked about hurdles, right?
Yeah.
And this is the part of the journey with the most hurdles, the highest hurdles, the most challenging hurdles to jump through. So what I had to do to get board certified is, number 1, finish high school. Number 2, go to college. After college, I went to vet school for 4 years. After vet school, I did what's called an internship, and that lasts 1 year, okay? Then after that, I did another internship, but this was in surgery. And I said, I want to specialize in surgery. So I tried to specialize, and the part that helps you specialize is what's called a residency. That's a fancy word for saying you live there. You basically work so much that you live at the hospital. Not really, but essentially. And I tried to get a residency, Bailey, and they didn't accept me. And it was tough. It was very tough to hear, no, Dr. Campbell, we don't want you yet. But you know what I did, Bailey? I said, you know what? I'm not going to give up. So I'm going to try again. So I did another year of what's called an internship in surgery. So now this is my 3rd internship, and I applied to get this residency, that place where you live at the hospital and learn surgery. And they said, no, Dr. Campbell, we don't want you, not yet. And it was tough to hear that the second time, Bailey, to hear them say, we don't want you, not yet. And so those were the 2 hurdles, 2 major hurdles. And I kept working and I kept working. I gave it another 2 years, Bailey. And then finally, I applied for the residency and they said, we do want you. And that's when I decided to become a specialist after 2 or 3 tries, Bailey, jumping over those huge hurdles. And I finally became a surgeon. I had to take a very difficult test, Bailey. It's a test. Okay, Bailey, do you like taking tests at school?
No, sir.
No, they're not fun, right? Well, I had to take this test, Bailey. Let me tell you a little bit about this test. So this test lasts 3 days, Bailey. It's a 3-day exam. And during this test, Bailey, you start out at 8 in the morning, just like you and I have had a chance to talk today, start at 8 in the morning. And then the test goes till maybe 2 in the afternoon. So it's just 6 hours of testing or longer for 3 days in a row. And guess what, Bailey? The first time I took it, I didn't pass it. And the second time I took it, I didn't pass it. But the third time I took it, I passed it, Bailey. And so there were constant hurdles in my life through this process. And the most important thing that we could talk about today, Bailey, this is more important than anything, okay? Just between me and you, don't tell anybody. Never give up. Keep trying. You never, when people put hurdles in front of you, you jump over them, you find a way to get around them, but you never give up on your dreams and your goals.
Okay.
Super. Bailey, let me ask something that I think you wanted to ask before. Dr. Campbell, you specialize in small animal surgery. And so why did you choose small animals over large animals?
Small animals and large animals. When I was going to school, Bailey, my 2 favorite species were bovine and canine. Do you know which animals those are?
Dogs,
And
cats.
Oh, bovine, that's going to be cows. So my two favorite species were bovine and canine, cows and dogs. And I had to make a choice. I said, well, I want to practice where I can do all of them. And there are some practices that exist where you can do a lot. But essentially what I had to figure out very quickly is that if I wanted to be a specialist in surgery, that I had to figure out which animals that I wanted to practice on. And I chose small animals because I had the most contact with them. I enjoyed them the most. And on the large animal side, I would likely have to live in areas in the country where I didn't necessarily want to live, right? And so I think for you, Bailey, is deciding, where do I want to live? And if you like a certain place, then live there. And there are certain animals that are going to be more common. For example, so for cows, right now I live in the city, and there's not too many cows in the middle of the city. And so I had to say to myself, all right, this is where I want to live. These are the animals that I like the most, and that's why I focused on them.
There are a lot of cows over here.
There's a lot of cows over there. All right, that's awesome. Well, I gotta come check out the cows.
Mm-hmm. And how long did it take to finish school?
Okay, so finishing school, finishing college, that's 4 years. Vet school, another 4 years. 1 year of an internship, that is now 8 years, 9 years. I did a year of general practice, Bailey, where I went back home to Connecticut, right? I went back home where you're at home, right? It's so much fun to go back home and work as a veterinarian. So I did that for a year. Now we're at 10 years. And then I did another 2 internships. That's 11 and 12 years. And then at a residency, that part of the process where you specialize, that was 3 years. So approximately 15 years all together. When you add it all up after high school, maybe I'm missing a few years in there too, because I'm so old. But certainly, I would say about 15 to 16 years after school. And then I've been practicing as a surgeon for another 5 or 6 years. So you add that all together, it's a long time. But you know what, Bailey? Guess what? Here's what I tell people all the time. No matter what, you are going to be a happy, successful adult. So the question becomes, when you become an adult, what do you want to do? You are going to be an adult no matter what. The time is going to go by no matter what. And so the best thing you can do is to say, what do I want to do with that time? When I'm an adult and I'm successful, what do I want to see? Where do I see myself at? So there are some people who will say, hey, Dr. Campbell, that's a lot of time. I don't want to have to go through all of that time. And I say to them, the time will go no matter what. It's up to you to decide what's the best way to use that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And what drew you into media where we can currently find you in media?
What drew me into media where you can currently find me? Well, that's a great question. Very few people ask me that question. And really, Bailey, if I'm being completely honest with you, I stumbled into it. I essentially had an idea with media, and someone asked me for help to explain something, and I helped them out, and then I found media. Bailey, here's what I would want to tell you. You will hear people in life say, luck. You were lucky, Bailey. Oh, I can't believe you got that. You're very lucky. And one thing I want to say, Bailey, is this. Luck is being prepared when opportunity arises. So right now, you are getting yourself prepared. You are doing everything that's possible so that you can be successful in life. And you know what, Bailey? Some opportunities are going to fall into your lap. You're just going to be walking down the street and you're going to get this amazing opportunity. But you know what? You are doing the preparation right now for that opportunity. And that's what happened to me for media. I was practicing and enjoying animals. And someone said to me, hey, Dr. Campbell, here's an opportunity. And I was prepared to do it. So I ended up going on TV for the very first time. And Bailey, I was so nervous because millions of people were watching me. And I said, oh man. And my mom, my own mom, my goodness, the TV program that I was on, she loved that show. The first program, it was called The Doctors. That's the name of the show, Bailey. And it was on CBS. And my mom loved that show. And nothing made me happier than making my mom proud. So that's where I got into media, Bailey, is my very first time I was on that show called The Doctors. That program, Bailey, I was on that at least 12 or 13 times. Then I hosted my own show on a program called Nat Geo Wild. Do you know about Nat Geo Wild, Bailey?
Yes, sir.
Do you know about Animal Planet too?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So that was the first time I got to host my own show on Nat Geo Wild called Pet Talk. And guess what? I got to talk about pets. So that was an amazing time for me because I got to just talk about pets all day, which is something that I love. I had 2 other wonderful co-hosts, and it was a really great time. So yes, that's how I got started into media, Bailey. It's simply by being prepared when opportunity arose.
Thank you. And what aspect of your work personally positively influenced the profession?
What aspect about my work positively influences the profession? Well, Bailey, that's a fun question, but it is a heavy question because I hope all of it, right? I hope all of what I'm doing positively impacts the profession. But I think the most important thing for me is making an impact that affects not only the species, but the people who love these species, and then most importantly, the people that treat these species. So here's the big 3. My focus going forward is not only just to treat the animal itself, but the people who love the animals, but then also the people that treat the animals, right? And that means us as a veterinary profession, us as a veterinary community, us as veterinary citizens, where we take care and we give back to our profession. And those 3 are what I try to focus on every day. Those are the 3 that are the most fun. And I hope that media positively impacts the profession. I hope that my daily practice with pets and animals positively impacts the profession. But most importantly, I hope that I can give back to the veterinary community and take care of us as a profession in a broader sense.
Okay, thank you. And what is media?
What is media? All right, Bailey, have you ever heard of something called a podcast?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. And you watch TV? Have
Yes,
you ever
sir.
listened to the radio?
In the car?
In the car, perfect. All right. And do you ever watch YouTube?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Sometimes.
Do you ever watch videos on the internet?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is what's amazing, Bailey. All of that is media, right? All of that is media, including social media, right? Do you ever watch TikTok?
No, sir.
No, sir. All right. Well, that's good. We can wait on that. But all of that is media. Everything from podcasts to radio to television to social media. All of that are channels, platforms, avenues, ways. These are ways to communicate to people and ways to educate, ways to give great information. And so if you when we talked earlier, I was saying to you that it was a while before I had met my very first veterinarian, right? Particularly my very first veterinarian of color. And now you and I can connect. Now you and I can connect all the way from Houston, Texas to me in California. And we can do that through the power of media. And so by using media, Bailey, you and I had the opportunity to talk, to have a conversation, and to celebrate the good news about veterinary medicine all through the power of media. So that's what it is. Sometimes it's all around you and you don't realize it, but it's happening.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
how has the media part of your job influenced young people around my age?
Well, I hope it has. I hope it has, because media is as I was saying, it's all around us. It affects us every day. People take in little pieces of information with media. And what I love about young people is that they are energized, excited, enthusiastic. They're ready to go. They're like little Energizer bunnies, and they want tiny pieces of information rapidly, all together. And what media does is it takes something like veterinary medicine, a profession that honestly, Bailey, is really large. And what media does is it takes something large and puts it into tiny pieces, tiny, digestible, little snack-like morsel pieces that you can take one snack at a time. And that's what I love about media. It can take something that's so big, so large, and so much information and put it into snack-like pieces. Do you like snacks, Bailey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, me too. I like snacks too. I like opening that little packet and taking them out. I do like a snack called goldfish. They're not the best for you, but I do eat I do eat them sometimes. And those little tiny goldfish crackers, they're in bite-sized pieces. And that's what I want you to think about veterinary medicine, like one of those big cartons of goldfish, and media takes it down into little pieces. So that's what I love about it. That's what I try to do. And so if you ever get a chance, Bailey, just to be in media, you're doing a great service, because what you're doing is breaking something big down into tiny snack-like goldfish.
That's a good explanation.
Thanks, Bailey. That's nice of you.
You're welcome. And you do theater, right?
Yes, Bailey, I have done theater. What's your question?
And how did that affect your journey to become a veterinarian? If it
First
did.
and foremost, Bailey, oh, sorry to interrupt you, I apologize. First and foremost, Bailey, I want to give you many kudos, congratulations, because you are the very first person to ever ask me how theater has affected my life in veterinary medicine. This is the first time anybody's ever asked me that. And Bailey, quite frankly, I'm very impressed that you know this, because most people don't know this. Bailey, first and foremost, theater, quite simply, gave me confidence. Theater gave me creativity. Theater was supportive. It allowed me to take a step outside of my comfort zone. Being on stage in front of your friends and your family, and allowing yourself to be creative, that can be very frightening. That can be very daunting, and it can be, you can say to yourself, I don't want to go up there. But what I will say is this, is that the entire community in high school, the entire theater group in high school, they basically rallied around me. They wrapped their arms around me and they said, Courtney, go out there and be creative. Courtney, go out there and be yourself. And this is something I want to really emphasize, Bailey, more than anything else, is that the best part of Bailey is Bailey. The best part of your personality is what makes you unique, is what makes you special. You have inner talent and an inner light that I hope everyone gets to see. And your light is unique. Your light is very special. It's unlike anybody else's light. And that's what theater allowed me to do. A theater allowed me to shine my light in a way that was unique to me, in a way that was special to me. And fortunately, people liked it. So then after that, I took that light and I just simply turned it on for other things, right? When it came to veterinary medicine, I turned my light on. When it came to media, I turned my light on. And hopefully I can continue to turn my light on in other places.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So what is DEI, and how do you work as an advocate in that field?
Oh, that is perfect. How do I work as an advocate in the field of DEI? Absolutely perfect question, and I love everything about it. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Diversity is having a group of people, Bailey, that come from all walks of life. Black, brown, light brown, white, from all parts of the country, from all ethnicities, cultures, tall, short, depending upon where you are in the country, depending upon your age. There's so many different types of diversity. Equity is making sure that everyone gets a fair shot, right? And people who come from different walks of life, that they're supported just like people who come from other walks of life. And inclusive environment is making sure that when you invite people to be part of a group, that they feel like part of the group. And so they don't feel excluded. Sometimes in school, you might find little cliques. Sometimes you might find little groups, and they might laugh at people or snicker at people, and they'll try to make people feel excluded. Well, Bailey, that's not what you and I are about. You and I are about including people. You and I are about making everyone feel welcome and everyone feel loved and everyone feel like part of the group. And that's what the goal is in veterinary medicine, is to make sure that everyone in veterinary medicine, everyone who chooses this amazing profession, that everyone feels welcome, everyone feels included. We treat people the same with respect and make sure we give people the boost who need it, right? That's equity. And finally, making it diverse, making sure that you have people that come from all walks of life. As I mentioned to you, the very first time I saw a veterinarian of color is when I was older as an adult. And there's a reason for that, Bailey. Unfortunately, the profession itself is not very diverse. The profession itself has mainly one type or one sort of race or culture of people in the profession. And our goal is to make sure that the profession overall is representative of the people who love animals, right? So many different people love animals, and we want the profession to look more like the people who love the animals.
Okay. And how are you an advocate for that? So what do you do to advocate for that?
Yeah, right now, this is part of it. This is what's so beautiful about DEI, or diversity, equity, inclusion, Bailey. It comes in many forms. Getting a chance to be on media so that people can see who I am and see what veterinary medicine's about. That is DEI. Being part of organizations that help to provide money and scholarships to help people through the process. That is DEI. Learning about other people's cultures. That is diversity, equity, inclusion. That's DEI. But most importantly, Bailey, this conversation that we're having right now, this is DEI, Bailey. This is diversity, equity, inclusion. We are boosting bright young talent like yourself and allowing people to see the beauty of veterinary medicine through our conversation that we are having. So most importantly, Bailey, when we think about those letters that are in front of you, that DEI, that diversity, equity, inclusion, I think the most important thing to remember is that it comes in a variety of forms, and something that you and I are doing right now, this conversation, is a way to advocate for young, bright youth to make this profession more diverse.
Okay, so you just do it in whenever you can with DEI?
Fortunately, there are organizations, and I have to give a big salute and a huge credit to Dr. Wells for creating organizations, for creating pathways and platforms like the Youth Veterinarian Initiative, for allowing us to have a structured way to give back, right? Have a structured way. So do I do it anytime I can? Well, yes, it is every week, every day of every week. I try to help an organization so that we can give back. But there are a lot of great people doing amazing work and helping to move this profession forward. So what I would say, Bailey, is a lot of people, a lot of soldiers are on this pathway, on this mission to create something beautiful. And that's what's happening right now. So you're exactly right. I help with organizations to move this process forward. And then in my daily life, hopefully I can be a symbol, just like you are a symbol of a brighter future ahead.
Okay, and kind of like going back a little bit, did you get any scholarships to college or veterinary school that helped you get there?
Yes, scholarships are important, Bailey. Like I said, just between me and you, don't tell anybody, but I'm not very rich. I have zero money. So I need the money to help me get an education. And I was fortunate and blessed that I applied to school, particularly college, and I had a large scholarship. I also had a large grant. And grants are very similar to scholarships. They're typically used to help support research, to help you support investigating certain scientific pursuits, right? Bless you.
Thank you.
So certainly scholarships and grants were very helpful. And remember, we talked about being prepared when opportunity comes knocking, right? And a scholarship is an opportunity, and it will come knocking for you, Bailey. And part of the preparation is doing exactly what you're doing. You said that in school, Bailey, are your grades good?
I think so.
I heard through the grapevine that they're amazing. They're not just good. I heard your grades are amazing. So congratulations on having amazing grades. I'm so proud of you. These are the kinds of preparation that will happen when opportunity comes knocking. So I did have scholarships in college. I had scholarships in veterinary school. I also, to help me do my research, I also got scholarships to help me do my research as well. So all through the journey, great people and great organizations and great schools have been able to give me a financial boost, give me money to help me achieve my dream. But none of that could have happened, Bailey, if I wasn't prepared when opportunity came knocking.
Okay. And out of all of that, what would you say is the best advice you would give to anyone who wants to become a veterinarian or work with animals in other fields?
The best advice that I could give anybody who would like to pursue a career in animals or veterinary medicine is let your light shine bright. That's the best advice I can give you, because your inner light is going to be dedicated. Your inner light is going to figure out how to jump over those hurdles. Your inner light is going to tell you to never give up and to always pursue your dream. So the best advice I can give you is follow that light, because that light will direct you towards what species do you want to work with? What aspect of veterinary medicine do you want to do? What creative projects, like what we're doing right now, the Youth Veterinarian Initiative with Dr. Wells, what projects do you want to pursue? And if you follow your light, it will lead you into amazing things, and you'll be able to do great things because you're being you. So that's the best things that I could ever advise anybody who's interested in veterinary medicine is celebrate you, celebrate the unique aspects of who you are. And when you combine that with your like for animals, I think great things are possible.
Thank you. And that's all I have for now. So thank you very much for answering my questions and coming on.
Absolutely, Bailey. Thank you. It's been a tremendous honor. I think that the way that you ask the questions are great. I want to give a special shout out to you, Bailey, too, before asking me a question about theater. No one's ever done that. You're the very first person to do that. And I could see that smile. And I hope everyone out there in the world gets to see your smile, Bailey. And most importantly, I hope they get to see your light shine bright.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, this has just been fantastic. I am so appreciative to both of you for lighting up this YVI podcast. We have two people who are on the call. They're both on mute. I would just like to ask you to come off mute and tell everybody who you are and where you're calling from. And if you have a question for Dr. Campbell or for Bailey, then it's time to ask at this point. So we have, well, it was Tony, but I think you left and came back as Todd. Are you there? Are you there? No? Okay. Let's go to Danielle Corbin. Danielle has been with us for quite some time. Danielle.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Everyone. I am Danielle Corbin. I teach 6th grade science in the Bronx, and I also work closely with Dr. Wells with her reading program and her YVI Veterinarian program as well. It is a pleasure to see you again, Bailey. You were phenomenal. Oh, this was an awesome interview. I've learned so much. Thank you.
Oh, That's
And
great.
Danielle is going to be sharing this with her sixth grade students. She is actually at the helm of the science department at her school, and she has 95 students enrolled in our YVI book club and merit badge program. And so this is going to be part of the library of podcasts that those students will be able to access at critical times during the year. And so I'm just so happy. This is going to be an awesome addition.
Dr. Campbell, this was phenomenal. My students live in, it's a Title I school district, which means, that 97% of the students receive free lunch. So that's to give you an idea. So when Dr. Wells gave us the opportunity to read books with scientists and veterinarians that look like them, it's been a phenomenal change in their choice of reading books. And we're working on building community within the schools with the teachers and a buy-in to create an opportunity for children to see more educators like them as well. So
that's absolutely phenomenal. And those kinds of initiatives are critical, partly because they're very enduring, right? Like I tell stories and I relate experiences that I had when I was super young, but there's a reason why that I tell those stories is because I remember them so crystal clear, right? And so as you know, just like I do, these experiences, they leave a mark, right? They leave an indelible impression. And so I can't thank you enough for doing those initiatives and making those strides in the right direction. Hopefully, as we try to figure out what young people really like, whether it's podcast, radio, that sort of thing, I hope we can just stay current with what the people enjoy so that we can continue to spread the good news. And I think books are essential. I think hopefully podcasts, hopefully they're essential too. And we just keep it going. So thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And we have Todd now. Can you come off mute?
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hello. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Todd. I'm in 7th grade and I'm Bailey's cousin.
Oh, nice to meet you, Todd.
Okay.
Nice to meet you too.
Cuzzo.
What'd you say?
I said, what's up, Cuzzo?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to tell everybody thank you. It was really nice to hear everything about like how the experience of a vet is. And I liked all the questions Bailey asked and all the answers too. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for joining. I think Bailey did a fantastic job. I completely agree with you. Excellent question from Bailey. And absolutely, I'm just so happy that you can join us. What, if you don't mind me asking, Todd, what are you thinking about pursuing later in life? What profession are you thinking about going into?
Right now, I kind of want to be a pediatric dermatologist. So
okay.
That's amazing. That's great, man.
Okay.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. And I really hope that you achieve that dream. Here's what I like the most about it, Todd, is how specific you are, right? That level of specificity and that level of focus. There are some advantages to that. Of course, keep an open mind, Todd. Absolutely. You never know. But yes, I will say, if you are very focused on that particular profession, there are some advantages because sometimes people get to school and they step into this big, ocean and they don't know where to swim. But the ocean is great. But if you know your lane, if you know your path, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm proud of you, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
That is phenomenal. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. Yeah, pediatric dermatology.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, some people don't even know that there's such a thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Kudos to you, Todd. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. So do we have anybody else that wants to make any comment or ask any other question before we sign off? Bailey, do you have anything else?
My mom wants to talk.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, Brandy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem. Nice interview. Loved all of the tips that you gave, Dr. Campbell. I was laughing because I told Bailey to make sure she tells you that she has heard "Let Your Light Shine" often from her parents. So,
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, if I can say anything even close to what you guys are saying, then I know we're making progress. So yes,
no, it
that
was fun.
that's
It was
great. Thank
phenomenal.
you so much for saying that.
Yeah, Dr. Wells, thank you so much for inviting Bailey to do this. I know our schedules have never aligned, so it's nice that they're back aligned again. She has dance this afternoon. Usually she has it on Saturday mornings, but
Okay,
they changed her schedule to this
Oh, wow.
afternoon.
Oh, so we
that is
lucked out.
beautiful.
Oh, that's
We
great.
did. We
Yeah,
did.
yeah. And so,
I am
Dr.
very
Campbell,
happy.
you're in California.
I'm in Santa Barbara, California, and
Okay.
I used to live in LA for about 5 years or so, and then I just went up the street for about an hour and a half, and I'm in Santa Barbara. I work in a town called Ventura, which is it's only like a half an hour away, and it's between LA and Santa Barbara. Have you been to California?
Yes, sir. Only
All
once.
right. Where in California have you been?
Along the beach.
Along the beach. All right. Yeah, that's the best place in California is along the beach. Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah, there's what's great about California. I'm from a very small state. I'm from a state called Connecticut, and you can get anywhere in Connecticut in about an hour and a half. But California, you could drive for 8 hours and you're still in the state of California. So it's big, lots of cities, lots to explore. Hope you guys get a chance to come out, and every city's different, so you'll get a chance to really see Cali.
Yeah, I wanted Bailey to ask you. So there was a vet show that she used to watch all the time, and I was trying to ping her to have you ask you if you were familiar with those vets. What was the name of the show?
I don't
The
remember.
The
the
Dr.
Vet Life,
Blue? Is it the Vet Life?
the Vet Life with Cy-Fair Animal Hospital.
Oh, I think so.
She knows that.
Yeah, the Vet Life. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Levine, Dr. Blue, Aubrey, they are all awesome vets. And I got a chance to see Dr. Blue just a couple of weeks ago. And I know that they are continuing to build some really nice hospitals, particularly in Houston. So they had a show. They are on hiatus right now. Their show's on hiatus, but it's a very popular show. All three guys, I went to schools with them. I was approximately 1 year ahead of them. And I'm just so proud of the things that they're doing and the strides they're making on the media landscape. So reality television, we're not sure how long it'll be around, but I think reality television has been amazing in exposing people and showing them, hey, vets look like us too, right? We could have fun too. So I give them a lot of credit. I'm glad you guys like that show.
We did. Well, thank you both again. Thank you, Todd, for joining, and Ms. Corbin.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this with your students.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody. This is a really, I just, I get such energy from experiences like this and seeing people, do these things. So this is great.
Yeah, and before we sign off, I just want to let everybody know that Brandy is at the helm of a Houston nonprofit called Hype Freedom School. And
wow.
the Wells International Foundation and Hype have been doing some things together through the Youth Veterinarian Initiative and with Danielle Corbin over the past summer. And I want to thank you, Brandy, for everything that you do. And I know that Hype is a summer school program, or it's a summer program. It's not a school. It's a summer program. But I hope that you will find a way to share the YVI podcast, and particularly this one, with people who are going to be enrolling in Hype for the coming summer.
We will. We actually have a group of middle schoolers that's at a conference right now where Bailey is supposed to be, but she chose this instead. So,
All right.
we would definitely share with our scholars.
Fantastic. All right. And look at the big heart that Danielle has given. So Courtney, I just want to thank you as well. We are in another organization called Possibilities, and we've never really had the chance to talk at length with each other. So this has been wonderful for me as well. And I trust that we will have, and I trust that we'll have more opportunities in the future now that we have broken the ice with this fantastic YVI podcast.
Absolutely. I saw Valerie give us a shout out. So that's great. You know, it seems like everybody's looking forward to this and wants to hear it. So
Yes, yes. Okay, so I want to thank everyone who has taken time out of their morning to be with us today. It's afternoon in Paris. I'm coming to you from Paris, France. I always forget to say that. But I run the Wells International Foundation from Paris, France, and the podcast always starts at 5 p.m. for me. So I'm getting ready to go and think about dinner while you're maybe going to be having your breakfast now, or lunch if you're in Central or Eastern time zone. So once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us today. I'm going to be uploading this podcast episode to WIF's YouTube channel as soon as it renders, and everybody will have an opportunity to look at it again. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the next YVI podcast. Bye for now.
Bye.